before we get to this video, there's a statistic that you have to see. Jameis Winston, as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, has thrown more receptions to the New Orleans Saints than Taysom Hill has. I'm not kidding. I tweeted this out. It's actually amazing, but we're not going to have an ignorant analysis of this signing because I know some people are pointing fun at the New Orleans Saints and joking around about it, but this is a very shrewd signing and it can have major implications on the NFC South as soon as this year. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Microphone back again with some NFL content. Guys, if you are a fan of the NFL, make sure you take a moment to drop a like and subscribe and turn notifications on. This is a brand new channel as of a month and a half ago. We're already at 42,000 subscribers. That's absolutely amazing. But even furthermore, guys, I am doing a giveaway on my Instagram page for $1,000, and I'm also going to be live streaming on Twitch tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'm thinking of doing a Madden rebuild, so if you are into those, make sure you come on by at 9 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/FlightMike. I also stream on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Now, guys, when I first saw this Jameis Winston signing, it was 3 a.m. in California, and I was literally about to go to bed, and I looked at my phone and I said, oh my God, I have to make a video on this tomorrow, and it's probably going to be a little bit late because I'm going to bed so late. I don't know about you guys, my sleep schedule has been completely messed up because of this quarantine, but as a result, I was able to get some additional details on this Jameis Winston signing that I feel like is absolutely remarkable for the New Orleans Saints. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is the fact, well, the more obvious facts. The New Orleans Saints get a #1 overall pick, a 2015 #1 overall pick to sit behind their 38 or 39-year-old quarterback Drew Brees, who could at any moment decide to retire at this point, and can easily integrate him into an offense that kind of focuses on the same strengths as Drew Brees. Jameis Winston has a cannon of an arm. Drew Brees has a cannon of an, well, had a cannon of an arm. I don't know how Drew Brees' arm is looking now, but but even furthermore, Drew Brees has never had a problem mentoring younger quarterbacks. He has no problem passing on his information and allowing other quarterbacks to be successful. But this is the interesting part of it all. This sometimes could come at Drew Brees' expense. If you think about it, Drew Brees' previous protege was Teddy Bridgewater. And now Teddy Bridgewater is the starting quarterback for a division rival. And at the same time, Jameis Winston, I feel like, is doing the exact same thing here, because Jameis is opting to go from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to their division rival New Orleans Saints. So the first thing I thought to myself, and I'm not sure how accurate this could be, this of course is my own analysis, is what are the odds that Jameis Winston understands some of the intricacies of the Bruce Arians offense? Obviously not fully, because he did throw a ridiculous amount of interceptions. 30 interceptions is a lot of interceptions to throw in any offense. And according to Pro Football Focus, Jameis Winston has had as many turnover-worthy plays in his first year in Bruce Arians' offense as Carson Palmer and Andrew Luck. So this also accounts for interceptions, fumbles. He's had 40, and this is all in their first season with Bruce Arians. So granted, the Bruce Arians offense is very complex, and I guess Jameis Winston wasn't able to stand a chance coming into the season as a turnover-prone quarterback. I don't think he really got the fairest chance to prove himself. If you also look at Jameis Winston, he didn't really have a lot of help from his ground game, and the one thing that I think bails out Drew Brees the most that Jameis Winston really needs to learn to do, and once he does do this, I feel like he'll be a significantly better player, possibly a consistent Pro Bowl player, is checking down to his running backs as soon as a read isn't there. We all know Jameis Winston has something that I like to call Madden syndrome. Whenever you go to the line of scrimmage and you say, hey, I'm going to throw to B as soon as I snap the ball, without even seeing the coverage, Jameis Winston does suffer from that. But I feel like sitting behind Drew Brees for a year or 2 years could give him the opportunity he needs to develop his skill set. It's not like he is being relegated to a career backup role. As a matter of fact, I feel like this is the best thing that could have potentially happened to him, even better than if he was able to go to the Patriots and start for them at the quarterback position right away. Let's get one thing straight here. Jameis Winston's career isn't even close to being over. Jameis is currently 26 years old. He's not going to turn 27 until January, so he's freshly 26 years old. And to give you an idea, Teddy Bridgewater, the previous successor, or the previous Drew Brees protege that left New Orleans, is going to turn 28 in the fall. So there's still plenty of time for Jameis Winston to develop, but there's another complication that comes into mind that makes me think that this is a brilliant signing for the New Orleans Saints. Of course, I know most Saints fans remember, earlier this offseason, Taysom Hill was being hyped up as the potential successor to Drew Brees. So why bring along Jameis Winston at the same time? Well, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. If you get Jameis Winston or if you get Taysom Hill sitting behind Drew Brees by himself, chances are they're going to think, okay, as soon as this man retires, this position is mine. By bringing in Jameis Winston, you now promote a nice little backup quarterback competition. Of course, you're still going to use Taysom Hill as a gadget player, but nothing's going to be gift wrapped to either quarterback. They're still going to be motivated to grow as much as they possibly can. If we're being honest here, and here's the most glaring thing to me, if this was any other season, if Jameis Winston was a free agent, probably last season when Nick Foles was hitting the market, and quarterbacks like that, I guess Teddy Bridgewater as well hit the market last year. He decided to come back to New Orleans on a one-year deal. I feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would have stuck with Jameis Winston this year if it had not been for Tom Brady declaring his interest to go to Tampa Bay. Whenever you have a Hall of Fame quarterback like Tom Brady that could come in and completely change the culture of your franchise, you definitely have to take that chance. I don't think the Buccaneers gave up on Winston because, well, they wanted to give up on Winston. They gave up on Winston because there was a better opportunity at hand. Otherwise, I feel like it only would make sense to give Jameis a second year in Bruce Arians' offense when they had a full season to figure things out and figure out what Jameis does well and what Jameis doesn't do well. And for the most part, Jameis does a lot of things well. You don't throw for 5,000 yards, over 5,000 yards on accident. You also don't throw for 30 touchdowns on accident. But of course, you also don't turn the ball over that much on accident. The thing about inconsistency with quarterbacks is if they get paired with the proper coach and if they get the proper help that they need, then chances are they could potentially turn it around. I've seen it before, literally with Carson Palmer. People forget that Carson Palmer, when he was coming back from injury, was a shell of his former self for the Bengals and even looked like more of a shell of his former self for the Oakland Raiders. He literally had 4 consistent, unproductive seasons before he finally, well, you could actually make an argument for 5 consistent, unproductive seasons until the 2015 season with the Arizona Cardinals. And at that point, I guess you could say it was a little bit late. He was 36 years old. Sometimes a quarterback very, very late in their career puts up these incredible productive seasons. It seems like they finally figure everything out or they get into the right system for themselves. But I'm using that blueprint to say I don't think it's too late for Jameis Winston at all. He's not Jamarcus Russell. He's not motivated. He doesn't have a poor work ethic. He just has a cannon of an arm and a gunslinger mentality that just needs to be tamed a little bit. And to be fair, Drew Brees was very similar to Winston during the first 3 years of his career. If you look at his rookie season, sophomore season, and his 3rd year in the NFL, he posted completion percentages of 55.6%, 60.8%, and 57.6%. All right, we're not going to count the first year because he only played 1 game, but those aren't the best numbers, especially if you're Drew Brees. He also threw 11 touchdowns to 15 interceptions in his 3rd season with the Chargers, and that caused the San Diego Chargers to draft Phillip Rivers in 2004. And then, of course, in true Drew Brees fashion, Brees goes off for 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He starts being one of the most productive quarterbacks that you could possibly have. And then, of course, there's questions about his injury status and whether he'd be able to play in the long term due to his injury concerns. But at the end of the day, he ended up having a phenomenal career. So what I'm trying to say is this is probably the best thing that could have happened to Jameis Winston. He's not being condemned to a role where he's going to be a backup for the rest of his career. It's not like he's going to the Eagles where they have a young quarterback that they spent a first-round draft pick on 5 years ago. It's not like he's going to a team that has an established quarterback for the next 5 to 6 years. He's going to a team that is literally looking at their quarterback on a year-to-year basis, and based off of his performance and based off of whether he still has it in him, they're going to just continue going. So there's a chance that you could see Jameis Winston as the quarterback of the future for the New Orleans Saints. And Saints fans shouldn't be mad at that, because you literally get the #1 pick in the 2015 NFL Draft for a ridiculous discount.